Picture a quiet Indian village surrounded by lush green fields, tall coconut trees, and winding dirt paths. This is where we meet Kittu, a cheerful, gentle toddler who treats every part of his environment like an old friend. Every afternoon, long after the morning chores are done, Kittu makes a special trip to the family cowshed. He loves helping his grandpa feed the animals, but his absolute favorite part of the day is visiting one specific tiny white calf with light brown ears. The calf is still very young, spending almost every waking moment shadowing its mother. The cowshed is a sanctuary for them, a quiet space built on warmth, safety, and a deep instinctual bond between the animals. As the afternoon fades, the air cools down. The smell of dinner cooking wafts from the kitchens, the birds settle into the trees, and the entire village quietly winds down for the night. Kittu's entire world operates on these simple, happy rhythms. His days are guided by the quiet predictability of nature and the steady presence of family, both human and animal. But the weather in the village can turn without warning. In the middle of the afternoon, thick black storm clouds rolled in, and the wind began to whip aggressively through the branches. Inside their mud and tile house, Kittu and his family were perfectly safe. He sat by his grandmother, listening to the thunder rattle the walls and watching the heavy rain pour down through the night. When the sun finally rose, the village was bright but battered. Puddles covered the ground, thick mud choked the dirt paths, and broken branches were scattered everywhere. Kittu headed straight for the cowshed, but the usual morning calm was gone. A section of the shed's wall had collapsed during the storm. The mother cow was pacing frantically, looking everywhere, and the little white calf with the brown ears was missing. The storm had broken the quiet safety of their home. The mother cow's peaceful routine was replaced by obvious panic, and seeing her distress gave Kittu an immediate, urgent mission. Kittu left the cowshed to systematically search the village. He checked the green fields, finding only a bird. He peeked inside the old banyan tree, uncovering a squirrel. Finally, he scanned the pond, but the calf was nowhere to be found. The sun was rising higher, and the heat was setting in. He was small, and his legs were tired from trashing through the mud, but he kept picturing the mother cow's worried eyes. Quitting wasn't an option. He paused near the edge of the village to catch his breath. Then he heard it, a very faint, trembling noise coming from somewhere nearby. He carefully pushed his way through a patch of tall, wet grass. Hidden just behind it was a deep ditch that the storm had completely flooded, turning the bottom into a thick, sticky pit. There, trapped up to its chest in the heavy sludge, was the missing white calf. Exhausted and shivering, it was unable to pull itself free. Kittu immediately rushed down the bank and tried to pull his friend out. He pulled as hard as he could, but the wet mud created a suction that held the calf tight. Kittu was simply too small to lift it alone. Locating the calf solved only half the problem. The sheer physical weight of the wet earth meant Kittu's determination had hit a wall. To finish the rescue, he needed to rally the community. Leaving the calf for just a moment, Kittu scrambled out of the ditch and sprinted back through the village as fast as his legs could carry him, heading straight for his grandpa. Within minutes, Grandpa and a few neighbors were hurrying back down the muddy path, carrying thick, soft ropes over their shoulders. They carefully slid down the bank. While Grandpa and the men secured the ropes around the calf's midsection, Kittu stayed close, keeping the frightened animal calm. With a slow, coordinated heave, they pulled the calf free from the section and set it safely on solid ground. A child's pure empathy had pointed the way, and an adult's physical capability provided the force. It took both pieces working perfectly together to pull the animal out of the trap. Back at the courtyard, Kittu filled a bucket with fresh, clean water. Using a soft cloth, he carefully washed the heavy, brown sludge out of the calf's white fur. Once the mud was gone, the exhausted little calf leaned its head forward and gave Kittu a long, grateful nudge against his chest. The moment they walked back into the cowshed, the mother cow rushed forward. The baby calf immediately pressed itself tightly against its mother's side, and the anxious pacing finally stopped. As evening returned to the village, the sky painted itself in warm oranges and purples. Kittu stood by the cowshed, holding his grandpa's hand, listening to the quiet, contented breathing of the animals. Responsibility and kindness don't require you to be big or powerful. Sometimes the smallest hands are exactly what it takes to mend a broken family.